Welcome to the China Sourcing Academy course, where we dissect the biggest issues facing buyers sourcing direct from China, with tips to save you time, money, and fast-tracking your business. With your hosts, Mike Bellamy and Neil O'Connor.
All right, so what buyers are doing, I think the areas, and thankfully we're all accountants, performance measurement, monitoring, cost management strategies, and strategic location. I don't want to spend too much on every one of these. Let me pull out the most interesting part out of 1, 2, and 3. Are you with me on that? Let me tell you that. Okay, so I'm very excited because when you talk to Apple, you think that, oh, they know everything. Oh, they must be the role model we need to follow, okay? But there's so many things that they do, and you're thinking, wow, do they really do that? And yes, they do. And you're thinking, wow, when they do what they do and they find out what they do, I'll give you some examples, you're thinking, wow, why do suppliers work with them? When Apple just squeezes the living daylights out of a lot of suppliers, and you're thinking, wow, why do they line up to work with Apple? And one of the big reasons is, number one, they want to get approved, and then they use that association to sell to other customers. Like, there's another strategy a supplier explained to me is, oh, we want to get to the US, but to get to the US, we've got to go to Taiwan. So first of all, we want to get a Taiwan buyer. Then we use approval. We've got approved as a Taiwan buyer. We don't care if we make money with a Taiwan buyer. But we use that to say, wow, that gives us legitimacy. We have now credibility because we now supply to a Taiwanese buyer. Oh, that's different from a mainland Chinese buyer. You with me here? And so then they use that to market to a US buyer. You understand the strategies that suppliers are using. They're not always looking to make profit with working with the big names. They use the big names to get business elsewhere. And so that's why it's interesting how suppliers are working with Apple, because I've went to one supplier in Taiwan where Foxconn has gone to that supplier. They make generic components. And they said, oh, we want to cost down 5% next 3 months, because that's norm in the industry, cost down 5% every 3 months. And this supplier in Taiwan said, oh, you're welcome to go to our competition. We're not costing down because we make the best inductors in the world. Wow. Wow. It takes a very bold owner, and this guy was Canadian, Chinese, educated in Canada, very bold and very proud of his product of making the best inductors in the world. And you're thinking, inductors? Wow, they're a dime a dozen. Like, they're the generic components. They're the components that you make little margin on. And here they're talking to a big elephant like Foxconn. Sorry, we don't cost down, because when our component goes into your product, it works for 5 years, for 10 years. Unlike our competition, it stops working after 18 months. So you make the decision. We are not costing down 5%. That's their response. Okay? So it takes a very strong owner and supplier to say no to a big guy like Foxconn. All right? And so that was on behalf of Apple through Foxconn to this supplier. So as much as I say that Apple beats up suppliers, all right, I have met suppliers that have said no. Okay, this is our product, this is our price. And those are the suppliers you want to work with, because they're dead set on making the best product in the world, even though it may be a low margin, boring inductor or transistor or resistor, but they're still going to make the best in the world. And I tell buyers, forget about price when it comes to negotiation. You've got to find that diamond in the rough, that supplier that wants to make the best in the world, and then you're going to have a relationship that lasts, and it'll be worthwhile, because price is just a short-term fake away, all right, to lock you in, and then you pay the costs later.